Hi, and welcome to my garage. That's got it out. Quite hollow in there. It's unfortunate, but might still be all right because this has to come out to a. This is 20 millimeters diameter, and this has to come out to 32 millimeter. So it may be okay. We'll find out. Well, I've managed to get the pin out. It's not that it's stuck in there that well, but I think what happens is it gets a bit of an edge rolled around the pin on both ends. You can see it on that one. And I think most of it is, the holding power is mostly the rolled edges on the ends. Maybe a little bit on the side here. I did a little bit of hacksaw along the edge to help it, but eventually got it out. Had to belt it pretty hard actually, but anyhow, all is good. This turned out reasonably well. Got a bit of deformation in the bottom of the channel for some reason, but I can easily work with that. That's, I think I said before, this is a 20mm pin. The bush that goes in here is 32mm, so there's quite a bit of meat that I've got to play with there. This is also the modified housing to Gingery. Gingery didn't have this raised section. I put that in to increase the thickness of material above the bushings. So yeah, let's clean it up. That's the bearing cap. I'll just chisel off the majority of the metal and then file it after. Just got to be careful you don't rip the end off, the corner off. find my pick. Anyhow, I'll continue on with this. I don't need to bore you with all of this. I'll catch you later. Well, the majority of this lump of extra metal is gone now with the hammer and chisel. It's reasonably close to profile. Didn't take too long. I can now file it off and clean up the thing. Yeah, didn't leave too much metal at all. I clean these internal ones here with the small hammer and the hammer and small chisel. I still have to do these two, and then after that it's pretty much cleaned up. Then I have to mate this surface to the spindle head, and that'll involve hand scraping. But this is nearly cleaned up. It's looking good. Just use a little chisel with a good rake on the roll on the back there. Makes it easier to manoeuvre, and in concave areas makes it easier. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll catch you later when I start surfacing off that. Bye. The housing's now cleaned up, and I'm going to flatten this surface out. This is the mating surface with the main body. I don't suppose it's critically too critical, but I'd like a greater contact area than just these four corners. So we're going to bring it roughly down level and flat, and then we'll glue it against the spindle head, and I'll glue the spindle head and hand scrape this down to a fairly consistent full contact area. Well, this is going to take a while, so I'll come back after it's roughly flat, ready for bluing. Well, this was surprisingly quick. I only turned you off for about 3 minutes. relatively flat all the way over, all the way across. So we'll use some blue and see how we go. Right, we'll see how this works. There and there. Okay, bit of hand scraping time. What have we got? There, a little bit there, a little bit there, there. Bring you back when I get a lot closer. Well, it's getting there. It's got pretty good contact. Oh, look at that. Pretty good contact all over. The lower one's not as good as the top one, but there's the cap. Okay, I'll clean this up and catch you later. In the process of making full studs for that bearing cap. Well, there's the 4 studs. These will do until I get better material, because I don't know if you can see that, but that nut is sloppy as, and I've tried this These are only hardware bolts, I must admit, but still you'd think there'd be a little bit more precision in it. I've tried this on an automotive bolt and it's loose. I've tried this on an automotive nut and it's loose. So both the hardware all thread is made to the minimum clearances, maximum clearances, and the nut is also made of the maximum clearances. So both of them are out to make sure they fit, and it becomes as sloppy as. It's terrible actually, but it will suffice until I get some better grade studs. But anyhow, stop your whinging, use what you got. Okay, I need to drill this out to tapping size, which is 6.8 for an 8mm. So, but I only want it to go 20mm down, which is the level of that piece of the housing. So we'll take this down to the bottom of its travel. Let that hit where we need to go. We'll just tighten it up there. Well, all 4 holes are now drilled and tapped. Just got to assemble it now. Okay, let's hope it all goes well. There's the top. That's the top, that's the top. It's moved. Slight adjustment. The camera stopped working. I think it was a flat battery. See, the alignment's pretty good. Yep. It'll come off. Yeah. That's good. I still have to make shims up for this, but I've got to pack it up with shims so when I bore the 32mm bore, excuse me, I can then remove shims, reduce the shim stack to adjust the running of the shaft on the bearing, on the bushing. Okay, that's ready to go back on. Alignment was pretty good, a little bit out there, but that edge is good. That edge is good. I'll just clean that edge up, both of them actually, and then put it back on. So let's remember that there was draft on these edges. Now I have to make the compound slide go on there, and part of that project will be a housing similar to this without this, just this two-piece block with a bushing through it, so the 16mm or 5/8 boring bar fits nice. That's over here. Drive the boring bar with a drill and use the cross slide and the feed to bore approximately 32mm hole for the bushings. Just making or just cutting up some shim material. I find this is a excellent source of material. It's what was it, 4th hour. So the spindle head bearing cap I put on. I have to cut some shims up for it, so the shims go on, then the bearing cap, it gets tightened down and bored out to the bushing size, and then I can take shims out to adjust the bearing clearance, the bushing clearance. The bushing is sliced down one side to create a bushing that can be slowly crushed to wrap around the shaft neatly. So yes, I'm getting some raw materials together. Some of you may recall that I made this punch and hole die for the carriage and the spindle head clamps. I was following Gingery's book and marked these spindle head bearing cap holes out to the required distance, 3/4, 5/8, only to realise afterwards that the holes don't line up. Wished I had realised that in the before I finished this cap. I would have made it to the same hole spacings, but it wasn't to be so. So I've got that one. I've now made another one, and this works out good. It's just that I had to make it, didn't I? Not to worry. So placings get together. One, two, works fast. Now, why did I make the punch and die set? Because this cap has to be shimmed out before the bore is bored out to 32mm. Doesn't say how many shims, so I'm going to make enough shims. Let's fit a couple. You can see from that how it works. Is that focused? I hope so. Couple more to make and then I can put the cap on. Here we have the bearing cap fitted to the spindle head. It's now ready to be bored out for the main spindle. Okay, I'll catch you later. Bye.